Hello, my name is Bernard Tracci, a Member of Parliament for Etobicoke Lakeshore, and welcome to In the Hot Seat, the video companion to the Lakeshore Link, my e-newsletter that goes every 2 weeks. If you haven't already done so, please sign up to receive the e-newsletter. I give information on what's going on in the riding and here on Parliament Hill. A couple of topics that have come up a lot. I've been receiving some correspondence, some emails and letters and phone calls. One is about the Senate, and so there's some controversies about the Senate. Interesting, because that's actually been a very big priority for our Prime Minister since he came to Ottawa many years ago. And we're the party, I suppose, of all the parties that's most interested in reforming the Senate. Number one, we really believe there's a value in having a Senate. Canada is a complex federation. If you look at big countries in the world, federations in particular, they all have a second house. And I think for that reason, it has a valuable role to play. We recognize in our party, though, that there's some need to make it more democratic and more responsive and more representative to the needs of Canadians. And that's why we're introducing some Senate reforms that don't require a specific constitutional amendment at this point. I should mention also, though, we would like to take on some bigger questions around Senate reform, and that's why we've reformed a couple of specific questions to the Supreme Court of Canada. And that's actually to accelerate Senate reform. The province of Quebec indicated that they were going to refer any kinds of Senate changes to the Supreme Court. So just ahead of them, in fact, we thought, let's get a specific response from the Supreme Court of Canada around what are the limitations that we could do. And I'll talk about one specific proposal from the opposition, from the NDP, which has been to abolish the Senate, which we really believe would require a major constitutional change, and we don't think would actually get approved, and that's why we're more interested in reforming the Senate and fixing it and making it more responsive. So that's number one. The second area that I've had a lot of questions on in the last week or so is around the Canadian International Development Agency and our commitments to international development, even outside of that. And it's an interesting area for me personally. I've been involved in travel to countries around the world, and I've studied international trade and development issues for a number of years. And I can say that there's been an interesting transformation in the world. As you know, it's a much more global place than ever. We've got international trade partners with countries that we never used to have a lot of trade with. And that's a good thing, because that means jobs and opportunities for those countries. And we're seeing by trade that a lot of countries are coming out of poverty. For example, Korea, after World War II, was a very poor country. The southern part of Korea is now one of the wealthier countries in Asia. And that is really done through trade. But around international development, we've done a few things to focus how we do international development. Number one is there's a fewer number of countries now where we apply more resources, where we really feel Canada can make a real difference. And there's 20 countries now that receive 80% of our bilateral aid. 7 of those countries are in Africa, 6 are in Latin America, and 5 are in Asia. And it's important, I think, for us to have focus rather than try and spread ourselves too thin. And then the areas where we're doing a lot of work in international development are in the areas of health and food security. You've probably heard of the Muskoka initiative around maternal health, and that's been a focus area not just of Canada but for all countries in the G7. And another area where we've been doing a lot of work is around human rights and reinforcement of the criminal justice systems in various countries, which is fundamental to peace and security and fundamental to economic development in those countries. I was in Guatemala and El Salvador recently, and for them that's a number one priority, is making sure they've got the capacities to develop their investigation, prosecution, and criminal justice systems so that they can make sure that people live in security. And I'm really proud of Canada's commitment. And talking to NGOs in those countries, they're doing some excellent work, and that's what we're really trying to focus on to make sure we can have some successful results in various countries around the world. So those are 2 areas I want to share with you. If you do have any specific questions, please send them in. I look forward to your questions, and you might hear some bells in the background. That's because I will be going to a vote in a few minutes. Thank you very much.